There were fights, there was fire, there were tasers, there were flares, there were cops. So it all starts with a notification on my phone, an invite to a Facebook event page. It was titled Cooks. Now, what piqued my interest was the description of said event. Open invite, hidden beach gather, beers, bongs, bitches, and bonfire. So, you know me, I said why the f*** not? Now, of course, I proceeded to accept this invite and then sent a re-invite to literally everyone I possibly could. I hopped into bed, I went to sleep in pure anticipation for tomorrow. Subscribe! Also, check this out. I could be live right now. So, I wake up, I check my phone. 50 plus notifications. This event had climbed to around 2,000 invites. Like, I actually couldn't believe that number. But let me tell you, it made it all that more exciting. It was the afternoon, and I started to hit up some mates to see what the plan was. Now, enter Ray. The man, the myth, the legend. Ray was one of those guys who would like turn up to parties early, he would help set up, and then he would accommodate for everyone for the rest of the night. He was friends with all and loved by all. Shoot him a message. I was like, yo, you coming to the beach gather? He's like, bro, I'm already down here. He tells me, he's like, come down if you want and help collect firewood. I'm setting up the bonfire. I was like, why the fuck not? So I start to pack my backpack with all the essentials that I would need that night. I hop on a bus and off I went. So I get to this beach and I hop off the bus. Now, it wasn't just like any beach. It was a quote unquote hidden beach. And by that, I mean a small stretch of sand down at the bottom of a cliff. You know, hidden from the road with all the cars as well as the general public. At the top of the cliff was a hospital neighboring a local golf course. Now, not the same golf course as my other story, although who the fuck thought that it would be a good idea to put a hospital next to a golf course? Like, you get grandma strolling out after a major surgery only to be fucking plowed in the back of the head by a golf ball. Anyway, I stroll on over towards the stairs that lead to the cliff and onto the beach. I look over at a silhouette on the horizon and see Ray. Dude, he was playing Rust in real life. Like, this motherfucker's on a beach collecting wood. We meet up and I begin to help him collect more wood, but before doing so, we had the essential task of getting absolutely blitzed. So I set up the gato, I use fucking seawater as the bong water. We then commence ultimate survival caveman mode. After a while, we had a fairly huge pile of sticks, logs, and random bits of nature. I sit back and watch Ray meticulously begin construction on this bonfire, like starting with the smallest sticks first, placing them on top of each other like a game of Jenga. He sparks it up, and for the next 30 or so minutes, he was dancing around this fire like a fucking caveman. People could be seen making their way down the cliff and onto the beach, and these people were all kinds of people. They're walking down one by one, each carrying something huge. I'm talking like speakers, and not just a Yui boom, bro, like full on fucking stage grade speakers down to this beach. Some had tarps, some had tents, some had eskies. The party was just getting started, music was blaring, fire was firing, and there were people turning up by the hundreds. Ray was doing his thing, managing the fire, completely unaware of what was going to happen next. A small group of people were kind of like hovering around the fire. One of them decides to whip out a can of fucking Lynx Africa and toss it into the fire. Now, this shit was a ticking time bomb. One that Ray was unaware of. I, along with a few others that saw this, yell at Ray to get back from the fire. He looks up in confusion, but fucking bang. Dude, this shit exploded. Ray, high as fuck, on his own plane of existence, absolutely matrixes that shit. Evidently, Ray cracks the shits with the group of people that tossed it, but that was only the start of the chaos. As the drinks began to settle in for the couple of hundred people on this beach, it slowly started to transition from a gathering of people to a group of straight up animals. We had people downing bottles of spirits, people punching pure baccy cones, snorting lines, fights breaking out, bottles being smashed, people lining up to flip over the bonfire. This one guy, he got too close to the fire, essentially fucking face planted into the bonfire, ripped off his clothes and legged it straight into the ocean. I'm not sure if I saw him come back actually, like fucking who knows where he went. Anyway, shit was kicking off to put it straight, but nothing was too out of the unordinary. Out of nowhere, someone starts to yell, look up. I look up to the sky towards the top of the cliff and see these two bright flares, almost like fireworks being shot up into the night sky. Everyone around was amazed, cheering. It looked fucking unreal. It was awesome. This was until these flares started to fall back down to the bottom of the cliff onto the beach, where you had a couple hundred people just standing there. The vibe went from, whoa, cool, that looks fucking awesome, to, oh shit, I'm on fire, real quick. Yeah, these flares were falling down. They were setting people on fire. They were setting bushes on fire. Dude, chaos just broke out. Everyone was running around, pushing over each other to get out of the way of these fucking flaming hot meteorites falling from the sky. And I feel bad for the dudes that were tripping that night. Dude, shit must have felt like they were fucking reincarnated dinosaurs having flashbacks, bro. Now, the part about the beach being hidden, it turns out if you shoot flares into the sky right next to a fucking hospital at the top of the hill, cops turn up. Boy did they ever. 3 strong flashlights were spotted beaming down from the top of the stairs, slowly making their way down. Everyone started to pack up their shit and prepare to hit legs. But then out of nowhere, the flare gun holders in all their mighty and stupidity shoot at the cops. Dude, I'm not kidding. The cops then started firing back with tasers at the people with the flares. And before we knew it, dude, a couple hundred people were smack bang in the center of fucking World War III. 2 rivals going at it. There were fireballs falling from the sky. People getting shot by tasers. It was just insane. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there with a couple of my mates, high as shit, just observing, taking it all in. All the drunk people were scrambling like ants, no idea where they were going. I get the bright idea to hit legs with my mates towards the golf course. So it was like a fucking migration of like a couple hundred people just sprinting up the beach in the sand, absolutely blitzed in pitch black darkness. And it turns out running in sand in the dark is not as easy as it seems. Eventually I make it to the golf course. Paranoid that the cops would find us for whatever reason, we decided to lay flat in one of the sand bunkers, just waiting for things to die down. Now, I don't know if it was us being fried that had us thinking that the cops would target us and not the flare gun wielding legends, but it did. So we laid there in a sand bunker for a good 20 minutes or so. Eventually things quietened down. Apart from the odd couple of, party goers just strolling aimlessly around the golf course, I eventually get up and I start to head home. Honestly unable to process what the fuck had just happened. And just as I mentioned earlier, I again brought half the beach home with me. But yeah, that's my crazy beach story. Subscribe. Also check this out. I could be live right now.